Hey guys, stop guessing when it comes to your vocal compression. These vocal compression settings and methods are going to be something that will work every single time. So these methods include FET compressor into an opto compressor, and then method 2, stacking multiple digital compressors, and then method 3, a soft knee compressor into a limiter. So if you want to learn more about these 3 techniques, stick around for this video. We're going to dive in and try out all 3 of these. My personal favorite is the most common one that you've probably seen everywhere, the FET compressor into the opto compressor. So we're going to start off with an 1176 and then go into a CLA 2A. If you're familiar with this one, go ahead and skip through to the next one. I only show this one because this is one that I use day in and day out when I'm mixing songs, and it's just really my go-to when it comes to vocal compression. It really never fails. Okay, so first we're going to dial in an attack. This is super fast and this is moderately fast. And then release. If you go too slow, it's going to sound like it's pumping. If you go too fast, it could be just right, or it might be a little bit too on top of the mix. So I usually like to use the release to kind of glue the vocal inside the mix or position the vocal correctly. So let's try this.
My love's like a hole that I dug cause it's deep. Undress you with my eyes, no fitting room key. I'm just so shy when I look in your eyes. Remind me of a sun.
I usually shoot for around 5 to 7 dB of gain reduction, but if it's sounding okay, go a little further.
My love's like a hole that I dug cause it's deep. Undress you with my eyes, no fitting room key. I'm just so shy when I look in your eyes. Remind me of a sunset or a sunrise. I try to speak, I want you discreet. So many curves like the ones in the street. Looking at that ass, I trip on my feet. Love is a gamble and the odds are so steep. My love's like a hole that I dug cause it's deep. Undress you with my eyes, no.
Okay, one important thing to note is you're not going to get your final compressed sound with just this compressor. That's what we're going to go into the opto compressor for. But what I'm looking for is I want the vocal to be punchy, not too squashed, but I also want it to be pretty controlled as well. So I found that going all the way to the left, it was letting a lot of the peaks through.
My love's like a hole that I dug cause it's deep. Undress you with my eyes, no fitting room key. I'm just so shy when I look in your eyes. Remind me of a sunset or a sunrise. I try to speak, I want you discreet. So many curves like the ones in the street. Looking at that ass.
And then you want to position the output to where when you bypass this, we're level matched. This is gain staging it correctly.
My love's like a hole that I dug cause it's deep. Undress you with my eyes, no fitting room key. I'm just so
you can hear what the compression is doing.
Remind me of a sunset or a sunrise. I try to speak, I want you discreet. So many curves like the.
Okay, let's get on to the LA2A. This LA2A, the gain is usually too high. Usually start by turning this down a little bit.
My love's like a hole that I dug cause it's deep. Undress you with my eyes, no fitting room key. I'm just so shy when I look in your eyes. Remind me of a sunset or a sunrise. I try to speak, I want you discreet. So many curves like the ones in the street. Looking at that ass, I trip on my feet. My love's like a hole that I dug cause it's deep. Undress you with my eyes, no fitting room key. I'm just so shy when I fitting room key. I'm just so shy when I look in your eyes. Remind me of a sunset.
Okay, so see what happened was when I used the LA2A, I got a nice glued sound. I squashed it really nice, but then I decided that turning the attack back some benefited this vocal. So this is something you want to listen for. If the LA2A is squashing it too much, but you're liking what it's doing, go back to the 1176 and dial back that attack a little more. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm letting the LA2A do the majority of the work and just kind of taming a little bit with the 1176.
My love's like a hole that I dug cause it's deep. Undress you with my eyes, no fitting room key. I'm just so shy when I look in your eyes. Remind me of a sunset or a sunrise. I try to speak, I want you discreet.
So that's method number 1. I love that method. Sounds great. Hey guys, I have some free gifts for you in the description. Grab the Melodyne mini course and some other gifts. And also, it can be tiring to go from YouTube video to YouTube video, especially if you're starting out. Although a lot of videos I have on my channel are very helpful, sometimes it's not structured the best. So that's why I made the Vocal Mixing Masterclass. I have 15 different categories, all mixing and mastering related, that will teach you the ins and outs of becoming a pro mixing and mastering engineer. So if you're interested in furthering your education in mixing and mastering, hit the link in the description and learn more. Now back to the video. Next, we're going to try multiple digital compressors. So my favorite digital compressors, because I'm old school, is the R compressor by Waves. What I like to do here is start off with just a moderate setting, 3-to-1, with a pretty fast attack, fairly fast release.
My love's like a hole that I dug cause it's deep. Undressy with my eyes, no fitting room key. I'm just so shy when I look in your eyes. Remind me of a sunset or a sunrise. I try to speak, I want you discreet. So many curves like the ones in the street. Looking at that ass, I trip on my feet. Love is a gamble and the odds are so steep.
Okay, so I dialed back the release to get the vocals sitting nice in the mix. I didn't really like how it was sounding with a super fast release, so this is going to be compressor number 1. Then I'm going to literally just make a copy of it, and now we're going to adjust the second one.
My love's like a hole that I dug cause it's deep. Undressy with my eyes, no fitting.
What I did was basically did similar settings. I wanted the vocal to be punchy, but not completely squashed or too far back in the mix. I kept the attack the same and then dialed back this release. Lastly, we're going to make one more copy, and then we're going to turn this into a limiter, and we're going to go on 50-to-1 ratio.
My love's like a hole that I dug cause it's deep. Undressy with my eyes, no fitting room key. I'm just so shy when I look in your eyes. Remind me of a sunset or a sunrise. I try to speak, I want you discreet. So many curves like the ones in the street.
Okay, yeah, that's sounding pretty smooth now. So 3 compressors, 2 that were set pretty much the same, but one had a faster release, and then this last one, we turned it into sort of like a limiter.
Looking at that ass, I trip on my feet. Love is a gamble.
If you like vocals to sound very smooth, not too harsh in the high end, not too harsh in the high mids, and very smooth to your ears, I mean, digital compression might be the thing you've been looking for. The analog emulated compressors like the 1176 and LA2A, the ones that I just showed you, those can kind of bring out some of that edginess in the high mids that can sound good sometimes for vocals and then not so good other times. So if you're working with a vocal that's kind of edgy and you want to smooth it out, this is a great option for you. Digital compression in a multiple series. The last technique I'm going to show you guys is a soft knee compressor into a limiter. So we're going to get out the Sheps Omnichannel 2. Okay, we're going to put this on soft.
My love's like a hole that I dug cause it's deep. Undressy with my eyes, no fitting room key. I'm just so shy when I look in your eyes. Remind me of a sunset with my eyes, no fitting room key. I'm just so shy when I look in your eyes. Remind me of a sunset or a sunrise. I try to speak, I want you discreet. So many.
Okay, so with this one, I dialed back the attack and went kind of slow with the release, and it gave me a really smooth sounding vocal.
My love's like a hole that I dug cause it's deep. Undressy with my eyes, no fitting room key. I'm just so shy when I look in your eyes. Remind me of a sunset or a sunrise. I try to speak, I want you discreet. So many.
Okay, so one thing to keep in mind, if you go slower with the release, it's going to be more of a constant compression. The compression's not going to be reducing and then letting off, reducing and letting off. It's kind of just going to be compressing the whole time. I'm going to limit it now.
My love's like a hole that I dug cause it's deep. Undressy with my eyes, no fitting room key. I'm just so shy when I look in your eyes. Remind me of a sunset or a sunrise. I try to speak, I want you discreet. So many curves like the ones in the street. Looking at that ass, I trip on my feet. I'm just so shy when I look in your eyes. Remind me of a sunset or a sunrise. I try to speak, I want you discreet. So
yeah, so it's a pretty round sounding vocal now. I think the way I positioned the compression really made it glue inside the mix, which I think is what we're looking for a lot of the time. We want a vocal to be warm. We want it to feel like the mix is just hugging the vocal and they're working together really good. And that comes from compression. And a lot of people don't realize this, but it really comes from compression settings. There's other ways to do compression. Guys, if you want to learn more about the different types of compression, I have a video that describes each type of compression: FET, opto, soft knee, and VCA. So check that out.